uh, get it hit. If the if the if any shell from any may be the anti-tank missile, or a wire guided missile, or RPGs, or any other weapon, then but the engine getting devastated is for the T series tanks is on more vulnerable side than the Abram. Although Abram is very larger looking, and the edge in the size goes to the Russian because it is smaller in size. So it's difficult to get in way to get that particular uh, uh, vehicle in scope, and so on the contrary, it's easy to get the Abrams in scope. So we're talking about the strength, the SWOT analysis for both of them. And Abrams also when it stood against the T-70, it just wiped out the T series tanks against when they were with the Iraqis. So that time the Abrams and the infantry fighting vehicles along with the Abrams had better visionary and better sensory equipment than the T series, because the Russian have modeled their equipment on a more manual basis. On the contrary, the Americans have been more on the more technically fancier side. But the night vision and the other sensory, America would have a better edge here. I'm talking about the 30 years back, no, not presently. Presently, both are like almost equal, but both have both are standing out in the reach opinion, in the reach aspects areas. So Abrams series, M1, M2 Abrams, huge ones, and very well very well designed, very well dynamics, and good range of the machine gun, good range of their shell gun, good range for the shell gun as well, and main gun, I mean. And the Merkava also has the Israeli Merkava has a feature of an air defense also, because if any shell is being fired, then it has that counter shell method also, where it would just throw a grenade, or it would just throw a fragmented shell that would stop the incoming threat. So so we have plenty of varieties here, but the primary aspects for both of these would be Abrams are much larger in size, that make them vulnerable, that also gets them inside. But then they have those sensory equipments within them, which covers up. And then you have the Russian, because Russia is a huge landmass, and it has had that legacy of producing huge number of tanks, because it was always on the move. It was always on a campaign somewhere or the other. It could be inside the Russian occupied territories also, or the USSR occupied territories also. Right now Russia, but earlier it was USSR, and some place or other they always had some rebellion happening. So tanks were their main power gun, and on the contrary, US has always relied upon their aircraft. But they also knows if there is a ground invasion, tanks has to be there, and infantry fighting vehicle also has to be there. So hope this would provide you with an understanding of the present scenario of what tanks look like. Although I'm not an expert, I'm just giving my opinion, so that it should interest you, and you also go through some content, maybe it be on the YouTube, or some historical content which makes you more aware about the military hardware. Even I have just gone through such articles and topics on internet only. Thank you. Dhanyawad.